Hi, welcome to Street Priest Ministries. I'm your host, Brother Jay, as we're taking the Gospels back to the streets. Today's drive-through message is Jezebel and Satan's soldiers, Jesuits, battlefield earth. There's nothing new under the sun, the Bible says. And Satan's tactics hasn't changed age after age. Every age, he has enlisted some soldiers, some sworn to secrecy throughout the ages, a clique, that to do his diabolical bit. And it's no different. And I want to use the Bible as a kaleidoscope to show this, like I always do. We have a group of men now, Satan's soldiers, called the Jesuits, that's dedicated to Satan's agenda, which is to usher in this new world order beast system and bring hell on earth. Get my video, Hell on Earth, where I get into detail and more about what their plans is. But this is what we're dealing with. It's no different in biblical times. Now, I've taught several times on Jezebel, get my teaching on Jezebel, get my teaching on the false prophets, age of the false prophets, message to the Catholics, several teachings on false prophets. But like a diamond, each message has a different facet. This one's going to have a different facet too, and a different outcome. Now, Jezebel represents a false religion, a false religious system, and a false religion. There's no more false religious system that meets all the earmarks of a modern day Jezebel church than the Vatican Catholic Church. Now, this is not at all an intent to belittle or take a swipe at good, honest Catholics. You're just born into a system that's been a system of corruption from the get-go. Since 400 AD, Constantine formed the Catholic Church. He took paganism and homogenized it with Christianity. And so you got paganism and Christianity, and in the Bible you couldn't do that. You can't mix God and the devil, or the devil's religion. You can't mix God's religion and the devil's religion, or God's faith. There's a better term, because God really is non-religious. You can't mix the pure faith of God and man's religion, Satan's religion, or the ancient occult religion. And that's all it is the ancient occult. All these pagan holidays, the Feast of Saturnalia, called Christmas. Mass was the barley cake baked to the Queen of Heaven, which God forbade his people to do. You read about it in Jeremiah 10, about the Christmas trees in Jeremiah 10, long before the so-called Christmas even came, and God was pissed off about his people worshiping Tammuz, the Feast of Saturnalia. No different than Easter or Ashtar, Ishtar, the moon goddess and resurrected sun god Tammuz worship. The spring solstice, you had the winter solstice, the spring solstice. Most of these feasts were carried out with pagan rites and human sacrifice. Nothing new under the sun. The worst one is coming up right now, Halloween. This is the worst. This is the Feast of the Dead, celebration of the dead. God is not the God of the dead, but the living. Any Christians participating in any of these pagan holidays, you need to really check your faith. Like 1 Corinthians 10:19 through 22 tells you. You ain't a real Christian if you practice paganism. And all paganism stems from this Vatican Catholic Church. You had Pope Sixtus in 433 AD that put a papal bull stamp on all these pagan holidays that are celebrated now. Christmas, Ishtar, Ashtar, the sexual rites of Lupercus, Lucredus, or Baphomet, called to you Valentine, Saint Valentine. And of course, Halloween, All Hallows Eve. the Feast of Samhain, where the Druid priest would come and knock on your door and say, trick or treat. Give up a sacrifice a child or a loved one in the house, or a servant or somebody. And the treat you would give was a pumpkin, like you have the pumpkins now, filled with fat that they would burn and be human fat at that, filled with human remains that was burnt to let the evil spirits know that passed over that night that you already gave a sacrifice, and they wouldn't take anyone else or kill anyone else in the house. This is what you celebrate. Everything is of the devil. All these holy days are of the devil. And this false church, false religious system has brought us all these holy days. I don't celebrate any of them, not one of them. Don't wish me a happy any pagan day. No happy pagan day for Jeff. Now, this false religious order is diabolical. They're swearing oath to destroy mankind like Satan. His whole objective is wipe out God's creation. He hates you. He hates your guts. You have no idea how much Satan and his kingdom loathes us, are jealous of us. We're replacing him and his boys, filling that void of the third that vacated heaven with the redeemed. Why would he he's trying to get as many of us into hellfire, ultimately lake of fire with him as possible. He wants to drag the whole creation down with him. He knows his fate is sealed. He tells you that in Revelations 20, I think it's 20:10, where he's thrown into the lake of fire. He knows he's just fooling and deceiving the world, and to making him think he's some kind of God with power. He has more power than us. Well, actually, the Bible said, greater is he that is in us than he that is in the world. He has more power down here. Let me rephrase that. Holy Spirit in us is greater than him. Most Christians don't rise above and live in that realm that we're greater than Satan. He tricks us into making think he has all this power. He was defeated on the cross. This is just a mop-up operation. Christ already defeated. He is a defeated foe. God expects us to get our kicks and punches in before we get to heaven and eternity with this enemy, the enemy of all mankind. But he got soldiers that are sworn and dedicated. They're blind. They're like those fish that's born in a cave with no eyes. They are born, a lot of them, into this family of serpents, serpentine family of Cain. They claim it. And they're hell-bent on destroying us and the earth, poisoning the earth, food, water, the air, poisoning the food, GMOs, poisoning the water, fluoride, poisoning the air, chemtrails, poisoning the environment with radiation, 5G military style 5G cell phone tower. Why do you think the cancer rate is off the charts even with children now? 2 out of 3 people are probably getting cancer, are going to get cancer. You're living in a toxic radiation toilet bowl because of these evil people see us as ants needing to be exterminated. And you're a fool if you don't recognize who the enemy is. He hides behind a cloak of religion, the pedophile included. The whole world's running after these people. Are your mortal enemies. Now, Jezebel system, the false religious system, sworn to Satan, is what the issue is today. And we're going to talk about. Now, The Jesuit order was formed to kill off the Protestant movement. Luther penned his thesis, 95 Theses to the Wall of Wittenberg, 1517, declaring the just shall live by faith. By faith are ye saved, through grace. It's a gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast. And he showed all the falsehood of the then Catholic, which means universal church. Universal church of man. That's what it is. Man's religion. 666. Humanism. And he declared the Pope an Antichrist. Now, which is true. And that started the Reformation. Protestant is what we're supposed to be. Protestant. The traditions of men that make void the word of God. Protestant. Protestant. Now it's been watered down to Protestant. And these worthless Protestant churches, these worthless denominations, these worthless religious orders on the Protestant side. I don't care which one you name. Baptists, Assembly of God, Methodists, all of them are bowing down and kissing the pedal Pope's ring. They're all sold out. All these religious organizations, they're all part of the ecumenical movement. Give them a teaching, the religious mob. It's kind of funny too. You'll enjoy that one. But the truth is still there. They all sold out. 501c3s and everything. Sold out to bail and abortion. You ain't heard no church stand up and preach about one of Satan's favorite, the sacrificing of one of his favorite ancient rites, sacrificing babies that the fallen angels had taught men to do. The God forbade, sacrificing the babies to Baal and Moloch. Nothing new under the sun. Abortion been around since the fallen angels taught it to man back in Genesis. And the church has done nothing to stand up and speak out against these ancient rites. Most of these people that work, including the founder, Margaret Sanger, was a Satanist, a Nazi. They know who they are. Most of the people working these clinics are Darwinists, Satanists, Nazis, occultists. They know what they're doing. Babies are using rituals behind closed doors. These aborted fetuses are food. Been around thousands of years. This false religious system participating in. SRA, child sex trafficking, eating babies, drinking their blood, adrenochrome, getting high off the blood. The priests were doing Connie Ball, means priest of Baal. Connie, priest, Ball, of Ball. Cannibal, eating babies, drinking their blood, and nothing new. It's been going on for thousands of years in almost every culture around the world. The fallen angels introduced this abomination that God abhorred in his Bible practice to men. And it's gotten worse. Back to almost the Aztecan day. The Mayan day. Now God, I believe, God raised up a man, Donald Trump, whose heart is totally against this SRA, satanic ritualistic abuse, sacrifice of children, and his war. But we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against the principalities, against power of spiritual wickedness in high places. This war is taking place in the spirit realm. God is judging corruption right now. And part of that corruption is this satanic child sacrifice rings they got. That believes they give them power with Satan. Nothing new under the sun. And it's Jezebel. Now we're about to get into it. I just wanted to make sure I laid the groundwork before I even get started, that you clear on what kind of war this is on the Jezebel system. Now, we're going to go to 1 Kings 19:1. 1 Kings 19:1. We're going to do, so hold on to your hats. We're going to do some 70 lead boots covering of this false satanic religious order. And it parallels the one we're dealing with today. The Jesuits, Jezebel and her court. It's no different. And like I said, nothing started out by saying nothing new under the sun. Satan's tactics hasn't changed since the Garden of Eden, basically. Just, each age is just names have changed. The methodology is still the same. But I would say, for us, it's our duty to know the wiles of the devil. That's the problem with most Christians. They're ignorant. They don't read for them. The best way to hide information for most Christians between the pages of a book, including a good book, the Bible. They don't even read that. So they're ignorant of Satan's ways, Satan's tactics. Even Son 2 said, know thy enemy as know thyself. Now, how you going to know the enemy if you don't study him? And if you definitely don't know the enemy's ways, how are you going to fight? You might as well forfeit and leave the battlefield. That's why the average Christian church is nothing to get my teaching. Cage of unclean birds. That's what they are. I'm not teaching on that with the average church here. Just going around, rolling and flopping like a fish out of water, huffing, puffing, and sweating. And the enemy is using them as a doormat and as a laughing stock. They aren't warriors on the battlefield. They don't even know who the enemy is. The enemy's right in their face. They haven't sold out to them. Like I said, I started out by saying the average church has been captured. The church or denomination organizations, little, off the wall, hole in the wall churches. That's practicing spiritual warfare. Few scattered on the internet, including street priests. We know who the enemy is, and we're taking it to them. But most of the church world has been captured, especially the hodgepodge, Tower of Babel, religious television. You can just cross them all out. Most of them are all Illuminati, Mason, occult, behind the scenes, and a lot of them are letting you know by throwing up. The goat, the Baphomet, whatever you want to call it, the two-finger devil salute. They throwing up. The 666. This symbol here, they throwing up. The Illuminati, yes, you'll see them throwing it up. That's who they roll with the devil. As they rake in billions of dollars every year for their planes, trains, Ferraris, and their toys, their 50-bedroom mansions. Satan told Jesus that he had the power to give it. Jesus didn't argue with him. He said, all these things, I'll give you all this power, the kingdoms of the world, if you bow down and worship me. Satan didn't argue with him. What are you talking about, devil? You ain't got no power to give me either. Yeah, he did. He's the God of the little G of this world. And most people sell out to him. Hollywood definitely has. You can't even make it in Hollywood without selling out to him. You're a witch and a wizard, groomed to be one by the time you get on TV. You're in the occult. Satan controls this whole world. He is the little G of this whole world when you look around and recognize. Illuminati, Mason, occult, Jesuits. These are all his family, his soldiers. doing his bit. Can't serve God and be a member of the enemy squad. You got to choose. Jesus said, no man can serve two masters. You got to choose one. Either hate the one and love the other, or hold to the one and despise the other. You can't serve God and mammon. That's what's going on in the pulpits now, preaching to mammon. Give to get a Cadillac, or get a mansion. Faith has been perverted. Made God a genie in a bottle. No, you serving mammon. You serving the Jezebel system, the New Age. New Age religion, the cosmic Christ, the ascended master. Christ has been reduced down to behind the pulpits. Everybody got a book they preaching from. It's the good book, the Bible. Preaching from their book, their New Age book. Faith working for you. Power positive. Hodgepodge. Madame Blavatsky's hodgepodge. New Age. Ancient, Buddhist / Hindu philosophy all into a big pot of gumbo. It's been served behind these pulpits. This is what you get. Jesus said, enter ye in at the straight gate. For wide is the gate and broad is the way that lead to destruction. And many there be that go thereat. Why would he say something like that if it wasn't true? The broad way is the religious way, the religious order. That's captured the so-called Protestant church. It ain't protesting anything. Jesus said, you make void the word of God, preaching the traditions of me, teaching the traditions of me. Madame Blavatsky in a theosophical society has captured the Christian church. That's what's being preached. And mammon, the demon of greed. It's what's been preached by the pulpits. People sold out. And they perverted the gospel. I'm sorry. I came here boiling for this message. Right here, it gets me excited. And let me get back on the path and talk about rebellion. Bible says rebellion is as a sin of witchcraft. So you're a witch and a wizard. A lot of them flying around in brooms in the church now. Totally in rebellion against God and his word. Saying God don't see. They don't really believe that he's watching. Rebellion. And Ahab told Jezebel all that Elijah had done, and withal how he had slain all the prophets with the sword. Now, Elijah stood up in his pagan age, when the whole nation of Israel was sold out to paganism, and Jezebel and her Jesuit order, 850 false prophets that fed at her table, sat at her table and ate. The false religious order of that day. Elijah stood up to it and said, thus saith the word of the Lord. And he felt he was alone, even though God told him later, because he had a little breakdown, got depressed, because he said, I'm the only one fighting this satanic religious order. Jezebel and her court, and Jezebel was unyielding. She was unmoved, unperturbed by the miracles that Elijah's done, unperturbed with the fire coming down from heaven on Mount Carmel in front of all the false prophets that was out there all day as a challenge to Elijah. Who's the God of fire? But they served Baal. What would be the God of fire? And God answered by fire, the God of Elijah. So they lost the battle. And Elijah killed 850 of them on Mount Carmel. Killed off her whole religious order. And she's pissed. But did she convert? Elijah thought that would convert. No. She stood in rebellion. And Ahab told Jezebel all Elijah had done, and with all how he had slain all the prophets with the sword. Then Jezebel sent a messenger unto Elijah, saying, so let the gods she's serving Satan and his demons. So let the gods do to me and more also, if I make not thy life as the life of one of them by tomorrow about this time. She said, I'm going to kill you, Elijah. Like you killed my false prophets, my false religious order. I'm going to kill you. You see, this pale pope is truly representing Satan. He ain't playing. He's telling you I worship Lucifer. He's of the Jesuit order. He's not playing. He's singing praises to him openly. He's not playing. Just like she wasn't playing. We're the enemy. That order was created to kill off Protestants, to kill off Luther in 1534. The Jesuits was born to kill off Luther and the Protestant movement, period. They're the absolute enemy of mankind, period, but also the enemy of the church. And their sworn oath is to kill off Protestants. I mean, literally kill it off. Nazi concentration, Hitler style, death camp style. They are not playing. And you can study the ways of the persecution that came, called the Inquisition, of killing Christians through the Catholic Church. They've been killing us in ways for thousands a year, or for hundreds of years, over 1,000 years. And before that, Rome, 64 AD, started with Nero. Paul was one of the first martyrs. Millions of martyrs through Rome. They have old saying, hell was built above Rome. And they ain't kidding. Feeding Christians to study, some of you should really read books. But read this one for sure. If you're going to read one, Fox's Book of Martyrs. That details all the myriad of ways they kill Christians, feed them to the lions, hanging them in gardens dipped in candle wax as human candles, pulling them apart with various machines and devices, flaying them, a myriad of ways. Even some went, even Tyndale, burned at the stake. Horrible persecutions. Every single one of the apostles, it started with Christ on the cross, crucified by the Rome. But after that, all the apostles were killed. Every single one, with the exception of John. They died of natural causes on the Isle of Patmos. All the rest of them were killed, tortured, hung, crucified, pierced through with a Brahmin sword, Thomas. You can go on and on. This same satanic religious order has been persecuted. The true church, when I say the church, I'm talking ubi spiritus, ischia ecclesias, the spirit, the body of believers that makes the church. Jesus said 2 or 3 together in my name, there I'm in the midst. That's the church. The body of spirit-filled believers around the world. I ain't talking about a religious order. Or definitely not a denomination. I'm non-denomination. I call them gangs. Satan usually moves in on any movement and makes a denomination out of it, and then that's all she wrote. Because God is always raising up men with different styles, different ways of communicating. You can't box God in. And most of the prophets in the Bible was outside the religious order. Didn't look anything like a man of God, in quotes I put, as far as the image of the world was concerned, or a prophet is supposed to look like. But yet they were. And usually it took death and maybe years later to reveal that it was a true prophet of God. If they wouldn't pay them, words they were saying fell on deaf ears when they were alive. That's normally how it goes. The Bible said the resurrection will vindicate us anyway. We're doing this for God, not for men. Jesus said, if you were to try to please men to be a man pleaser, you can't be a servant of God. Paul said, Peter said. And what you got behind the pulpits, the majority these days are men pleasers, trying to please an audience with tickling ears. They want to hear what tickles their fancy instead of hearing thus saith the word of the Lord. That's what we preach here at Street Priest. This right here. I see everything through the kaleidoscope of God's word. Else I don't want to be bothered with it. It has proven itself time and time again in my life to be absolute fact, including history, archaeology, biology. Everything I've studied, I found God. Science. Omniscient. God is all knowledge. That's all science is knowledge. He's all knowledge. I'm not sapient, all wisdom. It's all Him. I found Him in everything I look at. So it established my faith. I'm like Thomas. It comes rough for me. But he's just archaeology, everything. Ron White, all of this discovering. Old Pharaoh's army drowned in the Red Sea. I mean, all this to solidify my faith over the years. To where I'm saying, yes, God's word is true, and let every man be a lie. And I stand on God's word. Despite what I see, we walk by faith, not by sight. And I've struggled. I've backslidden. It's been rough. Because I'm using my brain a lot. Sometimes this faith business clashes with it. But I've learned and gotten better over the years to trust God's word, to lean on His word, and not my own understanding. Now, God gave us a brain in our head and expects us to use it. That's the problem. There's no balance. You got ignoramus preachers that don't believe in science, and ignoramus scientists that don't believe in God. The pendulum swings from